One look at you, and my heart knew you were the one for me.
Not the type of to brag, my lady got it all. Hey, yeah, she poppin' but never poppin' off. Plus she bad and bougie to top it off. So whoever trippin', they can knock it off. Not the type of to brag, little baby got it all, yeah. Am I wrong? I just wanna show you off. Hey, only right, I chop it, the top is off. So tell whoever trippin', you the type that made me boss up. I been coolin', but you movin' with some hot stuff. I just blow it, it don't matter what it cost us. Baby, bring it to the table like a pilot, yeah. And they be telling me it's not love, but I don't know who they speaking on, it's not us. You can't tell me what you got is not drugs, cause I'm addicted, keep me coming, let me cop up, yeah. And girl, you got me locked up, they won't let me out. Dealing with these they just stress me out. You the one I wanna come and bless me now, right now, like, not the type of to brag, my lady got it all. Hey, yeah, she poppin' but never poppin' off. Plus she bad and bougie to top it off.
Are we back? We live. This episode is entitled "The Wait."
The Wait.
Ooh. Oh, where do we start? I guess we could just start like. I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know why are we waiting?
Or even really, how did that conversation come
how did
about?
that even come about?
I feel like that's probably something people know, who brought it up, me or you?
Mm-hmm.
How did it even come into fruition?
So how did it come into fruition?
The funny thing is, on one of our early FaceTimes, do you remember what you said to me? You remember or no? I don't remember how we got on the topic, but it was I'm celibate, and he was like, "Girl, I'm not having sex with you." Those were his exact words, I'm not having sex with you. And I was kind of it wasn't no option anyway, but it was funny to think. I mean, I always did want to date, the person I dated next, I did want them to be celibate as well. Because, having done it opposite where, you do it and you want to stop, and then the other person not really into it, it makes it totally harder.
Went through that.
Yeah.
We both started, and it was it wanted to stop.
Yeah,
so
with other people.
Yeah, and then we came into this. It was funny though, cause at that point in time, I think I said in one episode, it's I was saved, but I wasn't all the way saved. So I knew when I met somebody with potential, I was I definitely don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, those was one of his first.
And I was it was the second time it was
maybe
it
was an early conversation.
I'm not having sex with you, and you was
I was kind of it wasn't
even
a conversation anyway.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But even while it was funny, it was kind of okay, boom, another thing he checked off the box. Okay, he's celibate off rip. I didn't have to ask him what's your thoughts on it. So I really appreciated that. Even though it was kind of early, it was good that that was your point of view.
What made you get there though?
What made me get to wanting to be celibate? So I wanted to be celibate because, like Keon said, I had sex prior to Keon, and knowing that one, I'm not supposed to do it. That began as I grew deeper in God. The conviction of when I did it, and then having to feel heavy or I made God upset or God is mad at me. That feeling don't feel good. Nobody wants that feeling. And then I think just, not wanting soul ties and not wanting what comes with people that I'm not married to, not wanting to, just knowing that in the past, again, just knowing how decision making change when you have sex, or how you can smooch over it, things that happen in a relationship, because okay, well we didn't really get over it, but we had sex and now it's over. I didn't want to have any of those feelings or emotions when I was in a very clear mind space, and I was just I want to do it right. I want to honor God. The Bible talks about your body being a temple, and it's just I want to do it, and I want to honor God. So that was really the biggest thing. But just again, having had experienced it the other ways and it didn't work out, I'm let me do it the right way and see what the result is as well.
I think I grew into my conviction now.
Yeah.
The closer, I said, once I met you, that's when I was really starting to make changes in my walk.
Yeah.
And the more that I was getting closer to God, the stronger the conviction was.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I'm trying
Hey,
to
did y'all she said, project your voice.
Amen.
The stronger I got closer to God. Nah, for real though. I think that was one of the things that kind of helped me. And then another benefit was I wanted to be able to see you in your totality.
Yeah.
Because sex blinds a lot
Very
of
much.
things, bro.
Yes.
And for us, I saw how it forced so many conversations.
Yes.
It strengthened our communication line.
Yeah.
And
it made us talk more.
Yeah.
It made us talk, because if you think about it, when you are doing it, I feel like me and Keon knew each other almost in totality early on, because we didn't have nothing interrupting it or nothing like to distract us. We weren't doing it, so we were talking about so many things that people probably who are married might not talk about to the first year of marriage or to counseling, but because we had so much time of not doing that, it brought about, it unearthed so many different deeper levels of us to the other person.
Yeah, and it forced like those hard conversations. Because most of the time when you're in a relationship or just dealing with somebody, you'll like keep those conversations in because you don't want to mess up the action that night.
Yeah, it's like, well, if I bring this up, we ain't going to have sex tonight.
I ain't going to get no.
Yeah.
So if we ain't had nothing to, we just got to talk about it now.
Yeah, and I think, and again, before Keon, it's like, I think sometimes as girls, we're like, some people do use it if you're like in a relationship that is not healthy. You'll use sex as like a way to keep the guy, but it's like, I don't want to be anywhere that I don't need to be. If you don't want to be here without sex, you're not good for me.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things when we was talking to Josh and Stasia about like, well, even just in general, I'm really learning that the idea of marriage is really friendship, bro.
Yeah, because imagine if, to me, this has built me and Keon's discipline so much. To think about if I was to get in a car accident or he was to get into a car accident, if his ailments had to be, paralyzed,
Sure.
I already experienced him without it, so it wouldn't be that much of a miss.
Yeah.
So because we did it this way, our relationship, our friendship is built to a level that is amazing. That didn't require any additives to get us to this point.
No, for sure.
I think that's beautiful.
But even in that though, like it wasn't easy though.
No, we is not gonna fake it till we make it. Y'all know we really. Our whole thing about doing YouTube is to really just bring y'all in and also share, like, be honest, our experiences, and it was not easy.
Still not
it's
easy.
still not easy.
Lord knows. Even this morning, like I see all that. She is so fine. I can't even look at her.
Why is he so dramatic? But yes, it's not easy, and in order to combat those spicy and hot moments, we had to begin to put in boundaries in order to get to a place that we are now. I mean, again, it's not easy, and we would start with the boundary, and then we might,
And I think it's cool that we grew into our boundaries.
Very much so.
Because when we first started, it was like, we don't need no boundaries.
And the boundary thought or idea even came from our mentors. So we was like, nah, we good. Like, we don't need them. Like, we don't even need them. And they were like, we're just challenging you,
We're
like,
not going to force it.
We're not going to force it on y'all. And then boom, a moment where it gets hot. And I'm like, okay, I go over there. It's getting spicy. It's like, okay, but if we put the boundaries in place, we wouldn't even have to, it would assist in those spicy moments. So.
And like you said, like, in all transparency, we've had multiple moments where it was like, all right, Lord, like, help us, bro.
Yeah, like, ooh, close but no cigar. No, yes. And I think it's funny because I think it might have been Kendall, somebody asking us, like, what helps that? And I say, in those moments, one person's discipline has to be stronger than the other.
Yeah,
because if not, that's when it's gonna happen. It's not easy. And sometimes I'm the stronger person, and sometimes Keon's the stronger person. If we're being honest, it's not always one person. And I think that we started out with, what boundary started out with?
We started out with I try to sleep on the couch.
Yes, so
came in town.
Y'all know I don't live in Maryland. I live in Delaware. So when I would come to Maryland, I would sleep in his room and he would sleep on the couch. And then we had it where
there was no tongue kissing.
It was no like serious kissing, very much just pecks, and then like no like. I
couldn't touch you.
Yeah, like no inappropriate touching, like you know. So that's what it started out as, and then of course oh gosh, then of course it would be one day we might went out and we might kiss, and then just the kiss alone, y'all know what that does.
For
so
sure.
Then we're like, okay, actually we have to stop, or like it'll just be, we started to get lax, so then we have to say, okay, let's do a reset. What do we need to do now? So now it got to the point where Keon goes to his parents' house whenever I'm in town. So I'm at his apartment. We're together like during the day, but at nighttime when we leave each other, he goes to his parents, and even last night before this episode, literally, I think it might have been 1 a.m. We left a function. I'm driving. I'm like, this is so for the birds. Like, who does this?
I had to call OJ. I'm like, Brad, you gotta come get me.
Yes, in the morning.
Y'all, it's shoot day. It's Saturday morning. I'm currently at my parents' house because I had to spend the night last night because Lord knows that we spend the night together, me and Destiny, then it's gonna get. Y'all pray for us. We try to do it right. Look, OJ in the whip. We try to do the right thing. We only got 2 more months left. It's up. Hey, well, I'm vlogging right now. Say what's up. I'm vlogging. Say what up.
What's going on, folks?
Look, Obo had to pick me up, son, because, you know what I'm saying, I couldn't spend the night. We trying to do it right. Get it right.
The flesh is tempting, ain't it?
I'm telling you, Slam. I'm telling you. 2 more months, baby.
It's like, but it's...
Yes. Like, that's the beauty of like the community that we built. It's like I can call a friend like, hey bro, I'm struggling tonight, like I need you to come scoop me or whatever. Or like and we also like made aware of our triggers.
Yes.
So like we seen how like I would text Destiny like Tuesday before the weekend, she got like, babe, I'm having a tough week and I'm stressed out week. Like that's typically when I'm aroused, like you wanna release some energy.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, Keon,
I'm sorry.
get it together.
My bad, y'all.
But no, yes, please help. Please keep us in prayer, y'all, because, amen. But, I mean, to be honest, my mom always says, like, you know, when you do love someone and they make you happy and excited, that's what God created sex for marriage. So it's nothing wrong with Keon being excited because, you know, I want to do it too, you know. But it's just when we want to do it how God created it. Did we always do it that way? No. But in this relationship with each other, our desire was to do that, and we are on a great trajectory of, you know, making it.
But I think also too, like, just the idea of like spiritual intimacy and emotional, like we're so close, bro. It's just like you just want to be connected to the person. Like even now, you're also just like I'm trying to release some energy, but I also just want to be like intimate with you type thing. Yeah. And I know it's the same. So it's just trying to maneuver through that, but ultimately knowing like at the end of the day it's worth it. And that's what keeps me in mind, or keeps us in mind. We always talk about, we met with our mentors, like just the thought of our first, when we get married, like what God asked for us. Like we want that first chair that he wants to place us in, as opposed to like working our way back to the 12th chair. We got to work our way to the front. Like we want everything that God asked for us the moment that we say I do.
Yeah. I think
and the sacrifices we make now.
Yeah, I was gonna say just about obedience being better than sacrifice. Yeah. And you know, again, like I said, there were moments that were hot and stuff like that. And I think in those moments, you know, we would be like, we would feel, even whatever that took place, we would feel like, darn, like we messed up. You know, and I think that it would make
Lord, it ain't gonna happen again.
Yes. Or you know, like we would pray and just be like, okay, Lord, like help us to ensure that even whatever this small thing that we let go, the boundary that we let go by, help us to get back on track.
Yeah, or even like give us the strength.
Yeah.
Like, to keep pushing.
Definitely.
And my favorite thing though is that this is the first battle we gonna win together.
Yeah.
Like this is our first fight. Like after this, no matter what come out with, we don't know, like our children might get sick or like you said, a car accident, anything, but we know how to fight together. Like we're coming together every night. All right, babe, like this weekend we gotta do it this way. Like we gotta call this friend. Like we're learning how to work together to accomplish this goal. So it's gonna be our and this is a big fight, bro. This is not like no easy thing. You know what I'm saying? So like we winning this together.
For sure.
What would you say to some of the viewers that said they're scared to take this route because they're scared to wait, and once you get married, they may not be any sexual chemistry.
Yeah.
They want to test you.
I was about to say that. I just love this. I love this. Literally, I was gonna say like, what people. I was gonna basically say like, what were some of people's like thoughts when we first brought this to them?
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of people's thing is like, how could you wait? You don't even know how it's gonna be when you get married. And if you're honest, for one, we did it before we knew each other. You know, like we didn't do it with each other, but we've done it. And I think that it's like that's not the end all be all, because again, you could get married and you could do it and then something tragic could happen and you're not doing it again. So to be honest, this helps to build discipline that can help you to also when you're married. I think that I also say like the whole, you know, buy the cow before the milk, you know, that whatever that term is. Yeah. I just feel like it isn't a necessity. And if you think back to probably, if I probably ask any girl, if you think about like, you know, the things that have happened or like the negative things that come with sex before you're married, I would probably say you probably don't want to experience those over and over again. I feel like enough of that, having experienced that, I feel like, okay, I don't have to do it another time to try to see if it's going to be different. Why not just try to do it this way and bring about and see what the result is? Because honestly, to both there are pros and cons, but I believe that there are more pros to waiting than there are to cons.
I agree.
What would you say? I know you had a lot of different thought processes.
Definitely, especially coming from guys.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, my approach is a little different only because like, I wish I would have had a man like on man's, not a man, but like I've had like my dad and I had other people, but just like somebody like my age to tell me just like the cons of like giving yourself to women, bruh. How many times have, and this is to any guy that's like watching this, like how many times you get laid up with a jump, bruh? You release your energy and then you be like, what did I just do? And for me, I realized that like, I don't know if I had enough self-worth to know my full worth, bro. I was giving myself to people, or too many people got too much access to me. And I hope guys kind of like take that away, like, bro, you're a king, bro. Like, everybody shouldn't be able to say like they have access. You should be preparing yourself for that next step, because you don't want to be out with your wife and you walk by a girl and be like, yeah, babe, like I had previous relationships with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to have that conversation over and over and over. Like, it's beauty in like protecting your king, like your temple, and like spending that time to really know who you are and like learning more about yourself. And of course, the conversation goes into like, well, if we're already engaged or like we're in a relationship, then we might as well. But it's like, I can just speak from my experience, bro. Like the friendship that we have, bro, the intimacy that I made with you is like, it's a feeling that I really can't explain. Like, y'all be saying us joking and all this, but like, this real life. I can even, if I can share this story really quick. So one of my very close friends, her name is Elijah Lewis. Went out to eat with OJ and Deucey, shout out Deucey. And this when I first told him, like, Brad, like, I'm locked in with Destiny, bro. I'm about to propose. They like, bro, already you just met her, da, da, da. I was like, yeah, and I ain't. He said, dang, you ain't doing But I think the beauty of it was, it was a moment I never forget, bro. We was on the elevator, it was like a couple months later. OJ had met you for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, I see why now.
Yeah.
And that was like, not like that I was seeking his approval, but it was just gratifying for him to like see it from his eyes. Like, I see why I waited. I see and you can see it on like, we not acting. Like,
this is us. This is how
anybody who knows us just know this was created for him to wait.
Very much. I don't know if we'll be where we are had we did it the opposite
and
way.
We still have moments. We're not perfect or anything, but like, we had a moment last night, but I wouldn't have been able to be comfortable and be vulnerable with her, or she wouldn't be able to be vulnerable with me if we didn't wait to this extent. Like, we're extremely close to us. We can share anything, how we feel, all of that. So that's one of the things that I would say. I know I answered like 3 different questions.
No, you're good. But what I would leave with people is like, give it a try. Just give it a try. Like, be open to it. Give it a try. Put boundaries in place. Even if you like, all right, we did it. We was already doing it, and you like, I want to try it. Now y'all been together for 2 years. That's fine. Give it a 6-month go. See, and I believe that you will see a difference in your relationship. And I want y'all to tell us how, DM us and comment us. Like, I want you to really like tell us how it changed or affected your relationship.
And for my guys, bro. And I know, like, I just spoke to it, but like, I just want to challenge you, like, I know it's not easy, and I know there's a common misconception that your value is attached to how many women you've been with, or like your worth is attached to how many girls you can get. But like, it's not the truth, bro. And your real worth is being able to say no. Because you're telling yourself, I love myself so much, I'm not gonna give myself access to just anybody. So I would just challenge you to like limit your intake. I've been there, bro. I've been a guy, and I've been in that situation before. So I'm not about to sit here and just tell you like it's an easy road. Like just completely don't talk to no girls, but like limit it. So instead of like getting to it every week, like maybe break it up every 2 weeks and then to a month, and then just challenge like even just try a 30-day like no like girls. No pornography, like none of that, bro. Like really, like clear your mind. And I'm telling you, the clarity that you'll get, the connection that you get when you meet somewhere, because God not gonna bring somebody to you when your mind is jaded, bro. The person for you. So it's just something to challenge.
Outside of the barriers that you guys put in place to stop you all from getting tempted or actually doing it, personally, with things that you guys do to discipline yourselves outside of each other to make sure that you're capable of doing this?
That's a great question. Yeah.
Like I just said, I knew my triggers, bro. So like, I completely cut off pornography. I completely unfollowed a lot of girls, blocked a lot of people, a lot of stuff on Twitter. Like, those are triggers. It gets you aroused, and then you like, oh dang, that's me coming to town. Let's get to it. And then I just got, bro, you gotta really like be conscious of what you're feeding yourself. And I think that's a misconception of just like, we think it from like the physical stance. But like, what are you listening to? Like, I don't listen to gospel up until 12 noon every day because I want to make sure I set my day with like a certain mindset. Make sure I'm in the devotion every day. Like, I'm following married couples, like my blog. I don't follow the Shade Room. I don't follow Justin Little Boy. Like none of that. Like what I'm seeing, what I'm feeding myself every day, bro, is like positivity, things that's conscious of my mind for my goal. Because I have an end goal, and she's worth that. So like whatever sacrifice I had to make, and that didn't come overnight. Like I had to build upon that. For me, that's how I did. Well, that's how I'm doing.
You worth it too. Amen.
Ooh.
Don't just you see that? Just one little tap, Jesus. But basically, I did everything that Keon said. Really, the biggest thing for me was like the conviction. And again, I have been single for 3 years, and I think in that time, me and God had just got on a really good place. But also, I think Keon's discipline almost like it challenged me to be like, okay, I think I came into it like I think I got this. Like I don't think I need any. Honestly, I think I really was like I'm good. Like I already was cool. Like, but I think Keon's discipline really made me go to a different level of ensuring that I'm also doing whatever it takes. Because it's not a one person thing, it's we both are in it. And I think that my devotion with God really is the highest thing that I do truly value. And knowing that like what unto him, my body is unto him, it's unto God. And so I think that following Keon's lead in who I follow, which I already was kind of in that space, but really ensuring that what I'm doing is being obedient, but also ensuring that I'm doing what Keon's doing as well. That also kept me through the entire process. So I think that really the Keon leading it, which was really honestly, I don't know how it would have been if it was like I'm coming in it and he's like, oh nah, I'm trying to get to it. That's a hard place to be in. Which is again something that I would say to the ladies, like if there's something that you truly desire to do, you can't date no guy who like, nah, like I'm trying to, like you can't change his mind. You might think you can, but that's something that only really God can do at the end of the day. So I think that again, dating somebody who is already in that headspace makes the transition and the boundary and the personal growth much easier.
Would you tell them to set, like not to like what if you came into it and I was like I don't know, like we can try it? Would you have cut me off or you would have kept on? Because I think that's where a lot of girls are at. Like,
I think that
it's more girls that's celibate than guys, and that's why I'm like challenging more guys. Like again, not even on some like just completely cut it off, because I get it. Like, just work your way to it, but I'm just telling you the peace that you get, like the strength, like all of that. And there ain't really no men on man time that's talking about this. That's why I wanted to share from my vantage point. And I don't know it all, like but I'm really passionate about that, because I could just see how like the impact it has had on my life, and I want that for my guys as well.
And to answer your question, I think I probably it would have been hard, but I think because of where I knew I was at the time, it would have just been like, this is something that is a non-negotiable. I probably would have had the conversation with you, like, this is a non-negotiable for me at this point in my life, and if that's something that you want to do, I'm not sure if we are the best fit, to be honest, even though I really do love you, Keon. It would have been really hard, really hard. But I'm thankful because I didn't have to have that conversation, because you were already at that place.
Amen. Bless
it would have been hard. I probably would have been like, okay, Lord, change his mind real quick.
I'm just saying that more so from like, for like a girl who's watching. Because I know it's a lot of girls who can relate to, like, I'm celibate, but the guy who I want, like, can I change him?
Yeah,
like,
you have all those thoughts. It's like, well, God, you almost start to think, is there any guy out there who's celibate too?
Like,
and I think that, again, back to, I wrote down my non-negotiables. There were 10 of them. My things that I wanted a man to meet, who, if they didn't meet them, I wouldn't date them. It exists. It might have took 3 years for us, our paths to cross, but imagine if I would have said yes to somebody ahead of time, I would have never met Keon. I wouldn't have been to this space. I could have diverted the path to meeting Keon. I could have diverted my purpose, because we have something that I know God aligned. And if I would have settled for something in between, I would have missed the man that God made for me.
And I think it's important that you did the work. Like, you gotta ask yourself, like, are you ready for what you're even praying for? Because like, you did the work for 3 years. You showed God, like, I'm committed. I'm doing this. I'm making these changes. And you was patient. And then, like,
Because it definitely can get, if you allow, you can definitely get bored while waiting for that person that you feel like God is sending you. Because, you're like, okay, God, like, I'm doing all the self-work. I'm prepared. I'm ready. Send him in. I just got, like, send him right now. Like, I'm ready. Like, I'm finna get married tomorrow. That's how I feel like, we get excited. We're getting older. But I think if you don't keep your focus on a man coming, and keep your focus on continuing the betterment of yourself, or growing with God, or learning yourself deeper, what do you love to do, what do you like to do? Because as we're going to change every couple of years, so what I liked when I was 21, at 28, I don't like. So continuing to focus on yourself, growing deeper with God, creating new friendships, new hobbies. When you focus on that, that helps to alleviate that, like, boredom, loneliness, or even like sometimes the envy of us having a friend or a person that we follow that is like, oh, their marriage looks perfect. You don't even know what goes on in their lives. So continue to just keep your focus, like Keon said, on the things that bring about that keeps you focused on the goal at hand, and not like, I want a man, I need a man. Is the desire of a man okay? For sure. But not to the point where it'll allow you to begin to settle or shift your desires and your needs. Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty much
our process.
Yeah, because I think that was just like again, it's just like really passionate for both of us. It's like we came into it like, we was figuring it out. Like, we didn't know how to do this for real. Like, we was taking it day by day, but I think seeing the benefit of it on the other side. And again, of course, we got like 2 months, like, we counting down, but
we definitely counting down, y'all. Okay.
But it's like, it's bigger than that. Like, I joke about it all the time, but like, you like my best friend, bro. So I'm not.
You are like, my best friend, not like my best friend.
Very much so. So I'm not even like, obviously I'll be joking, I'm sure, but like, it is what it is. Like, just the fact that I just get to experience it, it means more than all that.
Amen.
And I wouldn't feel that way if it wasn't for the week.
I did that.
Y'all, this day 2 of the boundaries. Say hey.
Day 2.
Look, I set up my little suite.
I tried to tell him sleep in the room. We can have alternate nights, but
My little suite.
I'm gonna get him a better cover.
She got to sleep in the bed. It's in there. I got to sleep on the couch. So that we can honor the Lord.
Amen.
Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me.
When you come, I need to
Look, y'all. Look, we at the hotel.
This is for the documentary.
We got 2 different beds.
We in 2 beds, Lord.
I don't know who made up the rules, but these rules are ruling.
They very much are ruling. The rules are ruling, and we are being obedient to the Lord.
You got anything you want to say? Anything else?
Huh?
You got anything else you want to say?
Keep us in prayer, y'all.
Yeah, her time has come for us to stop messing around.